Happy Tuesday, Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. The Tennessee Volunteers football team receives a commitment tonight, commitment number 10, and their first from an offensive lineman as interior offensive lineman Anthony Ogumoro commits to Tennessee. He's an offensive lineman out of Oklahoma. He just moved there in November, though. He's from Jacksonville, North Carolina. He's actually considered Micronesian. If you've read, Tennessee's had Polynesian before, but they've never had Micronesian here. So let's I think I heard earlier he's around the island of Guam. So is the island culture. Austin Price, VolQuest, they had a YouTube video short, about 5-minute one with him earlier, talking about why he picked Tennessee and just talked about his culture. And, I'll kind of recap that a little bit here in just a minute. But Ogumoro picks Tennessee over Oklahoma, North Carolina, Kansas State, and Missouri. And apparently he had visited Kansas State and Missouri the last couple of weeks, but Austin Price asked him on the video, said, when did you know it was Tennessee? And he said it was on the visit that he knew it was there. And there was a lot that really stood out to me in this as well, especially me being an educator and some of the stuff talked about. So apparently he has a special needs brother, and said that Tennessee just really went above and beyond on that visit to not only win over Anthony, but to also win over the family, the parents, the brother, and all of them, how they really rolled out the carpet, how they really went above and beyond on that. And he talked about on that visit as well. He said, he just meshed with everyone. He really liked Coach Ellerby, Coach Heupel, talked about the, I guess it's like one of the grad assistants. It would be, called him KP. It's, I saw it here a minute ago. Patterson, I think's the last name on it. I'll be honest, I don't know all the. Let me see if I can find it here again. Kevin Pendleton, not Patterson. Kevin Pendleton is what it said. He built strong relationships with Heupel, Ellerby, and offensive graduate assistant Kevin Pendleton. And say he talks to those guys all the time, and he feels like they're genuine. He said, and I quote, they didn't beat around the bush with him on the visit. And seemed like he hit it well with his hosts on the visit, with the players on the visit. And so this gives Tennessee their first offensive line commit in the class. It's commitment number 10, according to 24/7. This is the 13th ranked recruiting class in the nation. Of course, the star of the class right now is, of course, it is George McIntyre, but Tennessee's also adding around him as well. Ethan Utley, you've got the tight end out of Texas. Now you need some offensive line help. Of course, there's big targets on the board here. David Sanders, Josh Petty, Jalen Matthews, just to name a few on here. But we'll share the screen. We're going to look at a little bit of highlights on him as well. As Ogumoro, he's been a basketball player as well. So that tells you there he is an agile guy. He does have the agility. So let me pull that up and kind of share the screen with you right here. We got this ready to rock and roll. All right, so we take a look at it. I like this because it does point out. Now, see 6'5", 290 according to Huddle. Here you can see him out leading the block now, just taking the dude plumb out of the picture. All right, here he is in the middle. Pretty good size. I don't know. He may have gotten away with the hold on that one. Let's see where he is. Playing left guard. Again, another pretty good sized guy. Just takes him right out of the equation. Here we go again. Left guard. I may have lost track, but if I'm looking right, he was all the way down the field. Let's see where he's at here. There he is. Took his guy out of the play. See if we got another. Looks like the old wishbone there. Interesting. So he comes out of an offense that does like to run the football. He does project, based on where he's at. 24/7 lists him at 6'4", 320. Huddle had him at 6'5", 290. So, these things always differ a little bit. Normally the height is off an inch or so. The weight can be off just a little bit as well. But according to 24/7 or the 24/7 composite, they have him ranked number 495 overall and the number 30 interior offensive lineman. And so, a good-sized guy, a lot of room to develop. And, just looking at him as well, just looking at, what stands out to me with him, how he projects and an interior lineman. You got to think Tennessee after this season is going to lose probably about 4/5 of their offensive line. Cade Mays, Spraggins. If it's Lampley at left guard, Lampley's gone. Dane Davis is gone. Campbell is gone at right tackle. The only one that returning will be Hurd. Now, Tennessee had a really good offensive line class this past cycle. You got to think they'll go to the portal next year as well for that. But, adding Ogumoro to the equation, you added the guys you added last year with that recruiting class. If you added David Sanders, does David Sanders come in immediately and play, a Josh Petty, Jalen Matthews, some of these guys? You're always wanting to add offensive linemen. Tennessee made that mistake under Derek Dooley of not even adding an offensive lineman one year, and I felt like they played catch-up for that for a long time. And then once they got it going good under Butch Jones, the line started showing improvement. Butch got rid of his offensive line coach, got rid of his strength conditioning coach, and that position went to crap. And it's really for the first time in years starting to, I feel, do good things. Again, we saw it with with Glenn Ellerby. People get on him about his recruiting. I think Glenn Ellerby's doing a pretty nice job in Knoxville. He's a good offensive line coach. We've seen improvement. I mean, we saw that line last year, and it was, it had some good players on it, but at the same time, it was kind of patchwork, I would say, in a respect. I mean, they had guys in and out, especially you look at that bowl game and the offensive line they trotted out for Nico's first start. That was that's not your ideal offensive line. So what they're adding to this class, what they're doing with it, I think they're doing a pretty fine job with it. And this program and just the trajectory of it, each position and where they're going, you got to like where they're going with this. I like this commit, and you always got to think at this point in time, how solid is the commitment? Well, they asked him that. He said, my culture, our word means a lot. He said the island culture, because Austin Price was comparing like the Polynesian, the Micronesian. And he said, really, all of them are that island culture. When we give you our word, we're going to stick to it. And, he was asked about, well, if you knew it was Tennessee, how hard was it on those Kansas State, Missouri visits? He said, well, it's really just kind of, giving them chance. They've taken that time with it, giving them your word that you'll be there, and really taking it all in and making the best decision you can on that. So, it is a guy who was, I don't think, took the decision lightly. Tennessee beat out some good programs for him. I look a lot of times more at the offer list than I do the stars. We've seen higher stars with minimal offers before and so on. So I think this is a nice commitment. It's a good start to a foundation for the offensive line. Right now, according to what Tennessee has in the recruiting class, of course, they have McIntyre. Let me get back to the rankings here. Let's see here. Here we go. Let's see, McIntyre, you've got your quarterback. You're set there. Utley, defensive lineman. Van Dorseller, tight end. They have 2 wide receivers. They have, 3 defensive backs and a running back in this class. So I would think I don't know if they'll take another running back in this class. You're set at quarterback with George McIntyre. I think they're already focused on 26, and they're in on some big ones there. Tight end, you've got a good tight end already in the class. You're only losing one after this year, so I don't know that they go with another one. Wide receiver, from what I've seen, they're wanting one more wide receiver. And, some of that position's been really interesting, as apparently they are not recruiting Sparks out of Chattanooga now. There's some others that they've kind of moved on, so they've kind of cast their net to about 3 or 4 receivers. Offensive line, I mean, you always want to add as many as possible. Then defense, I mean, you got to add. There's no linebacker commitment. You're going to need linebackers. You're going to need more defensive backs. You're going to need more defensive linemen. So, there's a long way to go in this class, but, you got to build a base. Is it where I think we want it to end? I don't think so. But a lot of these battles are going to have to win some heavyweight battles. And some of that may come down to what the product is on the field. If this program does what it should do this fall, I think that will go a long way with recruiting. So I'm going to wrap up on that one, guys. But I will be with you, Mark. Tennessee Vanderbilt tomorrow, somewhere around 5:30 to 6 o'clock. Scheduled for 5:30. I know that game time today went off around 6. So I'll be with you directly after that tomorrow night. Be with you the rest of the weekend for Tennessee baseball with it. Chaz Lanier, watch. It's on. Chaz Lanier made it to Knoxville last night. He was there today. Where's that recruitment going to go? I don't know when we'll hear something, but I would think we'll hear something sooner rather than later. I'm going to stick with where I've been the whole time. I think Tennessee will get Chaz Lanier when it's all said and done. I know BYU, contrary to what somebody in the comments told me over the weekend, said BYU pays all their players the same. No, they do not. They absolutely do not. That's 100% false on that. BYU is paying and offering big money for Chaz Lanier. Kentucky's offering money as well. If he wants the best basketball situation, it's easy. It's Knoxville. Okay, I don't need to hear about national championships Kentucky's won years ago. Right now, at this point in time, Tennessee has the better program, the better coach. It's more sturdy, it's more stable, and it's just flat out better. That's all there is to it. You can deny it all you want to, but the truth is Tennessee's the better program. Does NIL win out or does basketball win out? We'll wait and see. But I'll bring you any updates on that when it come about it. And if there's any Lady Vols news that comes along, I've not seen anything in a few days on that. I'll bring it up to you as well. But I hope to see you tomorrow night for the baseball game, right after the baseball game. We'll talk a little bit of everything on the air. I hope to see you in there. But my name's Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe. If you want to say thanks, there's that special thanks down there in the bottom right-hand corner. A super thanks there as well. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And last but most certainly not least, go Vols.